And we are live. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the stream. If it's your first time, second time, third time, it don't matter. Welcome. Let's have a good day, y'all. Hope everybody's having a good day. I know we normally do streams at different times, but today we're gonna do it at 12. Today we're gonna do it at 12. And I try to keep it consistent, but every day looks different. You know what I mean? Every day looks different. How's everybody doing though? How's it going? How's everybody doing? Everybody's enjoying their evening, their weekend. I mean, not weekend. Work, home, school, you know, all these different ventures. Vacation, non-vacation, home, X, Y, and Z. Hey, function. Good day. Dude, if you're furloughed, every day is the weekend. Yeah, Steve, that is correct. That is correct. If you are furloughed, every day is the weekend. Hey, Herb, what's going on? You said turn the volume up. I thought the volume was good. I had to mute it. Maybe that's what you're talking about. I just muted it for like 2 seconds. Yeah, but yeah, if you furloughed, that is correct. That's 100% correct. How does sound sound? How's everything sound right now? Everything sound good? Are we good? Let me see here. I got a couple that we're going to check out here. All right, y'all. Did y'all see, if y'all been paying attention to the elections and all the voting phase that's going on in New York? Let me see here. Let's get all this together. We got here, got that. It's from last night, New Monday. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. I'm ready to see how all this is gonna fall out though. Like, I don't think it's gonna be too bad, but you never know. The thing is, you never know. All right, let me see here. There we go. All right. I think we're gonna kick it off kind of early today. I think actually, well, I give about 2 more minutes. Give everybody a little bit of chance to get on in here, and if not, oh well. You know, I mean, people gonna come in as they go, whatever the case is. But yeah, I was watching the part. I was doing a little bit of research on the election. I'm not super familiar with the whole process that's going on. I know he's the next, mayor of the city of New York, but at the same time, I didn't do super digging on it. I need to do my research, of course, but yeah, I know a lot of people are mad about the election, and it's New York though. I mean, New York is a very interesting state, interesting city, whatever you want to call it. New York mayor election. Let's check it out. Zoran Mamdani. Zoran Mamdani. Yeah, I hear a lot of people that say, and we'll actually check out the speech as well. I hear a lot of people who's pretty much just say that, like, oh, he's gonna destroy the city and all these different things. And I'm like, there's no way. Come on, guys. And most of the people who say that, they're like, capitalist or whatever. They're anti-socialism and all these different things. When in actuality, like, I think he's ultimately just trying to help people out, if that makes sense. And people, so many people are just like, oh, we don't like it. We want, we only want certain things. And no, he's got to go. Oh, yeah. So here we go. So I think I'm going to find the speech. You say the speech is great. We're going to check out the speech here as well. Let me go find it. But I think it's important that we cover that as well. All right. Let's see here. New York mayor election speech. That lost had names like Italian mobsters. Man, I tell you, like, when I see stuff like that, when I see people and and it happens every time. It's like everything is about race. Everything is about, oh, where are they from? Are they from here? Are they from there? And all these different things. And I'm just like, why? Why does that even matter? Why does it matter? at the end of the day, oh, here's the speech right here. So yeah, we're gonna check this speech out. As a matter of fact, delivers victory speech. Yeah, this is the one. So yeah, we'll check that out after we get through our show, and we'll actually watch that towards the end. I think it's important we cover that. All right, y'all. Let's check this out though, man. We got a lot of different things we're gonna cover in today's, stream. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just what's going on within America, um, and as a whole, yeah, layoffs. Right. I think we always cover layoffs, but it's important that we continue to cover layoffs because this is just what's going on right now within the United States. And it will continue going on within the United States throughout this entire, economy until whoever comes in to fix this whole system. But right now, this is what we hear. And the next biggest layoff that we got to cover and we got to talk about today is Ford, who have already announced that they are struggling from a lot of these policies. And, they've already said they got shortages. They've also said, that they are dealing with effects of Trump tariffs. They are dealing with so many different aspects of the economy. Kansas, yeah. And this plant right here is specifically in Kansas. Let's dive into it, though, y'all.
Right now to some breaking news. The truck line at the Ford plant in Clay Como is coming to a halt next week. The union says that employees on all 3 shifts will be temporarily laid off until Monday, November 3rd. Well, this comes after the company's CEO warned about lower profits after a massive fire at one of their aluminum suppliers. Workers on the transit van line are not part of this layoff.
Yep. And they pretty much are saying that this layoff right here is a temporary layoff, right? And they're not going to say, oh, it's a permanent, they're not going to continue to do it for a long time. But as a whole, y'all know every time one of these car manufacturers, these car brands, whatever, every time they say, oh, it's just temporary, it's not going to last forever, it is somehow continues to last until indefinitely. But anyways, this layoff right here is at a Ford plant in Kansas City, and they were notified of layoffs this week. All right. So y'all know Kansas City is all a part of Missouri, and we talk about Missouri all the time. There's a lot of interesting things that are going on right now in Missouri, but at the same time, it is what it is. I mean, a lot of these different companies across the United States are dealing with, a lot of these policies. But as we dive into it, they announced this, and I was also trying to see the number. They have not officially released a specific number. They just said hundreds, whatever the hundreds number is, and whatever it is, they said hundreds. All right, and they also said that the employees working on the F-150 truck at the Clay Como plant, they will be laid off as well. So overall, and they're saying they're expected to return to work the week of November 3rd, but as a whole, I mean, we just kind of wait and see when they have officially returned as well. As we dive into it, you also have, multiple plants and furloughs at the Honeywell employees in Kansas City as well. So guys, when we talk about the economy, when we talk about, the government and a lot of these policies, Ford already announced they're losing billions of dollars, right? Ford already announced that they're losing so much money from, like I said, tariffs, the economy, the EV market not really selling as much as they, thought they would have sold. But as a whole, a lot of people wanted these policies. A lot of these people, were here and they made the decision to support these different things. So now, and I don't know if y'all remember a couple months ago, right, as this was all unfolding, you literally saw a lot of people and a lot of these companies, they were saying, oh, we're going to bring back invoice pricing. And, oh, this is the thing that we are, we're going to support. And now it's unfolding, and I think it's important that we also show exactly what a lot of these states. It's pretty red over there. It is. I mean, it's just a reality. But it's not just Missouri, and you got a lot of different people around the United States who are dealing with these policies right now as we speak.
They're laying off the recruiters. They are laying off the recruiters. And if you're not a recruiter like me and you're not living and breathing on LinkedIn, you're probably not seeing this. But the majority of people that I'm seeing recently laid off are the recruiters. And you know what that means? That means they're not hiring. We're not hiring. And they are going to tell you that it's because this work is being replaced by AI, but we are not there yet. Not collectively. We still need recruiters, and they're being laid off in massive numbers. And I have not seen this since 2008, when things were really bad. I made a video about this several months ago. I saw this coming, but this is a 5-alarm fire. They are not hiring, they are firing recruiters. That is a very bad sign. Bye.
Yeah, and we've seen this already. They've already said that a lot of these, roles and a lot of these companies are doing hiring freezes. And a lot of these companies have decided that, hey, we're going to use automation and we're going to use AI to replace a lot of these roles. Or they're not going to necessarily fire people, but they also are going to just use this as an opportunity to replace, as people leave over time, as people get let go, as people, whatever. They're not going to do a mass layoff, but they're not going to replace a lot of these roles across different companies. Hence what Walmart is doing right now as we speak. And they don't know the direction. They're just making an assumption that AI can do all of these things, when actually AI isn't quite there yet. I mean, AI is super powerful and it can do a lot of things. However, I don't think it'll replace many different roles and also be as, qualities. I don't think it'll do the same quality of work that, a lot of people are able to do at these companies. But at the same time, it can do a lot of different things. So it just depends on the role. And I think certain roles at certain companies, like your junior level roles, your engineers, your accountants, right? Like a lot of those roles. Yeah. But then when we talk about recruiting, it's like on the other end, it's like, guys, I don't know. The fallout that companies are going to see from a lot of this, like whatever decomposition or, downsizing of staffing needs. I mean, you're going to see it really start to impact a lot of companies very, very soon. I don't know if it's going to necessarily be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's all about how it all unfolds. And we'll just see as time goes along. But as a whole, in the midst of what is going on right now in Missouri, you've got other companies like steel mills and you got aluminum workers who are dealing with the same effects as we speak. Check this out.
How am I going to pay for my house? How am I going to pay for my car? A lot of people scrambled because a job like this, it was one of those jobs when you got it, you stuck with it because it provided a very good living and it had very good benefits. I have a pension still that I was able to secure because I had enough time out there. It wasn't even a week. They announced it.
Yeah, and I showed a map, guys, because I think it's important to understand not saying him necessarily specifically, but a lot of people within a lot of these, areas are dealing with, because you have tariff on raw materials coming in. Now, specifically aluminum, I couldn't necessarily tell you, but I know specifically, you have steel that's coming in that is being imported throughout the United States that is dealing with a tariff on top of what they already have within the system as a whole. So it's just crazy, and it sucks to see that so many people are dealing with the effects of these policies. But at the end of the day, we are here now, and it's not just steel industries. It's not just the car industry. It's not just recruiting. There's many other industries as a whole. Let's check this one out.
If you want to know where the next mass layoffs are coming from, watch the healthcare industry. AI isn't just diagnosing now. It's billing, coding, and handling patient intake. Medical transcription jobs are already gone. Health insurance claims processors are next, and administrative roles are disappearing under the label of automation improvements. Hospitals love it because it cuts labor costs without cutting patient volume. But here's what nobody talks about. This shift, it doesn't stop with paperwork. AI is moving into radiology, pharmacy review, and even basic treatment plans. That's decades of schooling replaced by pattern recognition and data models. If you think that medicine is immune, you haven't been paying attention. The machine doesn't care how noble your profession is. It only cares how predictable your tasks are.
Absolutely. And you're seeing it spread like a wildfire, and it's going across the board. Like I said, we'll see, and only time can tell. I don't think AI could do as much as a lot of people, want it to do right now, as much as a lot of companies want it to do. But as a whole, it is doing a lot of the work that a lot of people are taking care of in every single day, circumstances. You got people who are, managing so many different parts of their job, right? They're doing so many portions of their job, which AI can quite literally take off the heavy lifting, all the basic math and the basic, calculations, the basic, coding needs and all these different things. You can probably just insert a role And then, they can take care of all the other different things that, it makes the whole job, I guess, more efficient, if that makes sense. It just depends on how the company do it, though. And I don't know how it's all going to unfold as of right now, but it's happening very, very fast. And I think a lot of companies are adapting, and they are just deciding, and it's spreading across, and it sucks. But until there's some kind of regulation, companies it's like a gold mine. It's literally a gold mine, and companies are continuing to dig it out and make more and more money each and every day. And it's going to get worse. It really is. But as a whole, it is what it is. We're here now, and there's nothing we can do. The job market is already in shambles, and we're going to continue to get even worse. Even worse. All right. Anyways, I saw comments in here that you guys said I didn't say hey to the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Ignores the bottom 60. Yeah, absolutely, Crypto. Let me check out some of the comments. Sunny Side Tales. He said, if you don't know what LSP in the 80s was. Kyle said, tell me you don't work in tech without telling me you don't work in tech. Oh, man. Yeah, Kyle, absolutely. AI can't do the whole job. No, 100%. It can't do the entire job. However, AI can take over the heavy lifting portion of the job, right? The basic coding. It can build not an entire program. Actually, some portion of the AI can build a program. However, AI can do the coding for you. You go back in and debug and put together all the other portions of it, to the point to where you don't need a million different software engineers. You probably just need 2 for an entire, team, instead of 10, because majority of it isn't about coding anymore. It's more about how, it is what it is. I don't even have to break it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's doing everything, but as a whole, it is doing a lot. It's doing a lot. It is doing a whole lot. Because we have to go back and correct its mistakes. Yeah, and like I said, once again, it can't do everything. But you have a lot of pieces. And to credit, I went to school for software engineering. I went to school for IT specifically. And then my master's was in software engineering. My master's now is in cybersecurity. So I'm well versed within, the tech field. Like I have the experience, right? But as a whole, I'm not saying that it can do everything 100%. But what I can tell you is it can do a significant heavy lifting. That's the reality. Which is hence why you have other companies like Amazon who have decided to downsize a lot of their tech department. That's why they're doing it. It's the reality. This is why they're doing it, because it can do a lot of the work. It can. That's the reality. But anyways, let's dive into the next portion of it, y'all. Let me see. Let me dig a little bit deeper. 1 second. Let me see. One more thing. This is insane. LLMs. Let me see. Unfiltered Truth said, hey, welcome. All right, y'all. The next story I got to show y'all. And I think it's important we cover this because we are also looking like there are so many different moving parts that are happening right now within the United States as we speak, like so many. And it's crazy. But you also have a lot of people that are coming out here making fun of all the cuts. And I made a video about this already, about Trump being forced by the judges to bring back, food stamps and all the cuts, right? But in the midst of that, you also have people who are making videos and making fun. This came a huge trend on TikTok as of lately, where people are just coming out here and, saying, oh, go get a job and all these different things. And then digging into it even deeper, they are literally getting fired from their job and they're ruining their livelihood just for some views on TikTok to make fun of people. I don't know. It's crazy. But anyways, we're going to dive into this. All right, let's do it, y'all.
My baby has not eaten in 2 hours. That is why I'm on my way to my second job tonight, because it is my responsibility to make sure that he eats, not the U.S. taxpayers. I am responsible for keeping him fed and clothed.
So similar to the Toast Lady, if y'all don't remember the Toast Lady that we made a video about, she came on here and just like, and I think actually hers is a little bit worse than the Toast Lady, because actually she's out here making fun, like literally making fun of it. The Toast Lady was just talking about it. She was eating her toast and, saying, oh, what happened to your food stamps from the previous week? And, making she's literally like mocking people and saying that, oh, she got a job and she's able to feed people, when in actuality it's a dog she's talking about right now. We're not saying that dogs are not expensive, and not saying that they don't have their own, costs and expenses, because dogs can be very expensive as well. But when we're talking about just food for a dog versus food for a kid, what are we even talking about right now? Like, literally, like, this is so crazy. And to see how, like, this has become a trend all over TikTok. And I got so many more videos about just like this, of people actually talking about this and like in this whole fallout, which is crazy, because on the flip side, now Trump is forced to give people 50%. It's not the whole thing, but as a whole, he's forced to give it because of the fallout of this whole situation, which on the flip side proves that it's not just people that's taking advantage of the system, proves that everybody on here isn't, living lavishly and doing all these great things. But as a whole, you have your elderly, your disabled, and people with kids who are actually working, who are actually trying to, survive, right? Not just live, survive on these programs, But hey, let's check this out. And the fallout of this situation is crazy, and it actually gets worse from here, y'all. Check this out.
Tina Coleman, come on down. You're the next contestant on Fuck Around and Find Out.
Why is the audio not working?
You're the next
Okay. All right, y'all. My bad. What is going on with audio? Let me see. 1 second.
Tina Coleman.
Here we go. All right. Did y'all hear that? Was the audio okay for y'all, or is it just me? I think it might just be me, actually. Let me try this again. All right, let's see here. Anyways, this fallout is crazy. Let's check it out, y'all.
Tina Coleman, come on down. You're the next contestant on Fuck Around and Find Out.
My baby has not eaten in 2 hours. That is why I'm on my way to my second job tonight, because it is my responsibility to make sure that he eats, not the U.S. taxpayers.
Tina's a registered nurse that works at Crenshaw Community Hospital in Crenshaw County, Alabama. Not to be confused with Greenbow, Alabama. According to this badge, it also looks like she's worked in home health care at some point. As a healthcare professional myself, the majority of my patients have to utilize such programs like Medicare, Medicaid, food assistance, Social Security, and disability. But how disgusting to see how she really feels about her patients. But Tina, I can't wait to see the grand showcase you win at the end of this Fuck Around and Find Out game. And the rest of y'all, have a good day now.
So pretty much in the midst of this, they kind of went back and did their research and exposed exactly where her job was. And I'm sorry for the camera work I was working on behind the scenes, but yeah, it just overall, this is just what is going on. And they went back and did a lot of research, and they found exactly where she works from Crenshaw Community High School. And they came out and put out a statement and said that, hey, we are aware of the video circulating online, and we take this matter seriously. The views expressed in the video do not reflect the values of our mission the values or mission of our organization, guys. Like, this is crazy. And I'm gonna tell y'all this, as all this unfolded, I'm not laughing from a sense of, oh, she's suffering and all these different things, because by all means, I'm not saying that she needs to lose her job. I know she's infuriating a lot of people, and what she did was incredibly offensive, right? But as a whole, this is what happens in America. By all means, we have freedom of speech. You have the ability to say whatever it is you want. That is one of the great things that America has, from amendments, from the Constitution. This is why people come here. You have the freedom of speech to say whatever that's not hate speech, whatever you want to say. However, that does not take you away from the consequences of the actions that you decide to pursue within the Constitution. It is what it is. Nobody told you to turn on your phone, get on your phone and type in and TikTok and go on here and just talk and make this humoristic video that you thought was going to get all these clicks and get all these likes and get all this attention that you wanted, that you absolutely wanted. Nobody told you to go do that. So now, as a result, she is losing her job over this entire situation. She hasn't got fired necessarily from my perspective. I haven't seen it. I'll do a little bit more research. I'll follow this situation along even more as time goes by. She hasn't gotten fired from my perspective. Well, from my understanding. However, they are looking into it from their specific statements. They came out and gave a statement as a result of this, guys. Like, What does it take? I can't tell you how many stories we've seen over and over and over again of people coming out here making fun of people and, oh, MAGA this and MAGA that, and y'all need to learn and own the libs, right? Y'all know, own the liberals. I can't tell you how many times we've seen a story like this over and over and over again. And now she's finding out exactly the decisions that she's made. And by all means, on a serious note, and I got to get it serious by all means, right? Why is it that so many people are looking at this situation like it's funny, like it's, people are just like, not really suffering out here? Like, why do people look at it like that? Like, seriously. And they look at, oh, they're taking my tax dollars, and because I'm able to work and I'm able to make a good living and I'm able to do all these different things, and they should be able to do the same thing, and they need to get a job. They need to go get more jobs and more jobs. Like, why is that the narrative right now, that everybody that are on these programs, every single person out here is just freeloading the government and they want to live off for free and live off the government for their entire life? Why is that the narrative? I have no idea. And it makes no sense. And it's so frustrating because in actuality, the people who are on these programs, majority of the people who are on these programs are not just freeloading and taking advantage of the government. Unfortunately, we live in an age right now where the propaganda and the way that people are able to post a video and get so many views and get so much attention from these stories, the exception of the rule, right? The exception of the rule, they're able to get so many views and so many clicks from the exception that it outweighs the majority. It outweighs the majority of the people who are actually on these programs. That's the unfortunate part. And until we're able to, comb through the exception, that will always be the image. And that's how, honestly, that's me, in my opinion. This is how Trump got into office. They were able to build an image off of the exception versus the entire rule. But hey, once you make an image off of the exception, I mean, you can tell anybody anything. You can say anything about anybody and people will believe it. And as a matter of fact, I think majority of the people who supported MAGA this whole time, well, not majority, I'm not going to say majority. A lot of the reason why Trump got into office, this second portion of, for this second term, is because of the younger generation, because of social media, because of, the way they were able to, spread the word, right? You have people like, Charlie Clerk and, they went to the college campuses and they built the following. They built this whole image. They were able to get on big streamers, radar, big YouTubers radar, celebrities and all these different things. And they were able to build this image that join the team. It's time for change. It's time for, to be uncensored was their thing. That was the other thing. Uncensored. We're going to be uncensored. We're going to be able to say whatever we want to say. But beyond that, the roots, the foundation of it's this entire situation of where we at right now. Manipulate the algorithm. Yeah, absolutely, Herb. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. They all voted blue yesterday. Yeah, sunny side. They all voted blue. Did y'all not see how the whole election played out in a lot of these different states? Thunder, I mean, I wouldn't say Kamala was bad. I wouldn't say she was bad. I wouldn't necessarily say Kamala was bad, right? I would say the way that it's tough. I think it's just the way that they advertised it. And I think it's just the way that and the way that yeah. I'm gonna lay off on that one. I'm gonna lay off on that one. I'm gonna lay off on it. It's a tough one. I wouldn't say she was like bad. I just think I think it just wasn't the time, right? Like, I think after the Biden term, I think a lot of people had like a lot of bad thoughts about what happened during the Biden term, because during the Biden term was some tough times within American history. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. It was tough, right? The cost of living was on the way up, even though the stock market was also on the way up. But on the flip side, you also had, you know, they were dealt the bad hand, I think, and personally, in my opinion, right? I think in that term, I think they were just dealt the bad hand. So on top of that, you had a lot of recency effect coming to the election because so many were like, oh, you know, we're dealing with all these crazy things, crazy grocery prices, craziness. But think about it. When you go back to what caused that situation to happen, it's like people just forgot that the pandemic happened. In my opinion, I think a lot of people completely forgot what happened during the pandemic. A lot of people completely forgot what caused the entire, you know, cost of living crisis that was going on. And of course, you also got the, you know, the supporting of other countries across seas and all these other different factors. But I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. I necessarily, when I made the decision of coming into this election, it was more about right and wrong, honestly. I don't, you know, agree. Not necessarily that they were the better and the, you know, the greater decision, the greater candidate, or necessarily. I just didn't agree with a lot of things that, you know, Trump was talking about. That's just reality. I didn't. That's just, and I think that's what a lot of people made their decision based off of as well. You know, and I don't think they were a terrible candidate whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I think they were pretty okay. Okay, I wouldn't say great. I wouldn't say amazing. I wouldn't say good. I would just say okay. Definitely better than the other side. Let's say that. Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying they were perfect, amazing, great, whatever. Better than the other side. And I'm going to leave it right there. All right, let's dive into it, though. There are so many people. And guys, Florida, man. And we always got to talk about Florida. We always got to talk about Florida, y'all. Florida is always such an interesting... you know what? Let's dive into it. Whoops. Florida. All right. Anyways, I'm gonna let the video speak for itself. These food stamp cuts are crazy. And you know what? So many people voted for this, and now they're dealing with. We got a lot of FAFO in this stream today. I think today is the stream of FAFO. A lot of this is finding out. But anyways, let's dive into it, y'all.
We don't have the finances to get groceries. If it wasn't for these food pantries and Feeding Tampa Bay, we wouldn't be able to survive. And that's really tough.
Well, right now, there are more than 1,000 people in line here at Feeding Tampa Bay to try and get food assistance. Look at all that. The line has been going for several hours now as people wait for Feeding Tampa Bay to open up. That's because the SNAP benefits that they had relied on have expired, and this month's payments have not yet arrived. The federal government does say that they're going to be providing potentially half of those payments after a court order, but it remains to be seen as to when those payments can be sent. Right now, there are 500,000 people in Tampa Bay who depend on SNAP payments, and right now it is unclear as to when those payments are going to be coming in. Feeding Tampa Bay says they expect 1,000 people to try and get extra food to feed their families over the coming day.
Yeah, and guys, I know we talk about Florida a lot, and I think it's very important that we talk about Florida because, I mean, you know, it is the extreme, right? They talk and, you know, they come out and do things like this, but then also they have the extreme ideas and the thoughts and say that, oh, you know, we need to get rid of these programs. They don't like, a lot of the people who supported this whole administration, a lot of people who supported a lot of these different things, you know, voted on these policies, right? Like, it sucks. And it's crazy that so many people are at these food banks as we speak. Now, by all means, it is for many different reasons, right? Some of this is SNAP, you know, some of this is federal government, and some of it is just, you know, people who need the support, right? Like, it's a mix of it all. But as a whole, like, we're here, guys. Like, you know, we can sit back and talk about why and what caused this and what states are better and what states are worse and all these different things instead of finally coming together and making a decision to, you know, work for the American people, you know, put systems into place that don't ruin it all. You know, like, why is it once we get in this situation, why is it once we start to see the fallout and the effects of all these different policies? And of course, a lot of this is extreme because we're going through a government shutdown right now. But as a whole, we're talking about massive cuts to Medicaid, massive cuts. They already talked about massive cuts to food stamps. Like, a lot of these policies were in the big, beautiful bill, which so many people were in support of when it came out back in July. You know, like, we're here now. And unfortunately, it is devastating so many families across the board, guys. But Florida, and I show Florida, and we make so many videos about Florida. Florida, man. You know what? Let's just get along. And at the end of the day, let's move on to the video. And the reason why it frustrates me, I think it's very, it's crazy because I go back and I watch videos like this. And, I don't hate Trump. I always have to disclaim this because so many people think I hate Trump. I don't hate Trump whatsoever. I have no like strong feelings towards. I just dislike a lot of, the narrative, the propaganda, and the lies, and the way that a lot of these policies are unfolding and destroying so many people's lives within America. So when I watch videos like this, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna just let the video play and then we'll break it down after.
Shutdown proceeds because the Democrats just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's wrong with them. They've never done a thing like this. They've become crazed lunatics. All they have to do is say, let's go, let's open up our country, and everything snaps back into shape. So there's something wrong with them. I'm always going to meet. All they have to do is open up the country. Let them open up the country, and we'll meet. We'll meet very quickly. But they have to open up the country. It's their fault. Everything is their fault. It's so easily solved.
And it's like, guys, are we in third grade? Which grade are we in? Are we second grade, third grade, fourth grade, or kindergarten? Which one are we in, guys? Like, are we on the playground right now? Like, when I watch, seriously, and I'm gonna let the beginning play one more time, let's just let it play.
Shutdown proceeds because get
it out. He can't even get the lies out. One more time, just for the fun.
The Democrat.
I can't, guys. I seriously can't. Seriously. By all means. Why are we here? People disagree. People have always disagreed. But I think because of this whole, doctrination that we're in right now, they have continued to disagree by far, even further. So people are fed up. Hence why the past election that just went on for these past couple of weeks just happened now. You got people who are coming out in record numbers against what are a lot of these policies that are going on right now. It's crazy, but this is why I think it's important that we make the videos that we make. This is why I continue to talk about, certain states, certain people who support these policies, people who support, systems like this. And I'm not, like I said, once again, I don't hate Trump. It's nothing about that. But it's a certain level of decorum. It's a certain level of unity that I think we need to have as the United States of America, right? We are the United States of America. Bring people together and make a system that works. That's it. Instead, you have families like this who are being devastated by a lot of these policies, guys.
I just witnessed a family trying to buy food with SNAP benefits, and it's November 1st, and they didn't know, and there was nothing on their card. A mother, a father, and a little girl who was probably about 3 years old, 4 years old, standing there trying to figure out what they were going to do because they needed their groceries. Everyone should have food. Everyone should have food. Doesn't matter if you're a drug addict. Doesn't matter if you're homeless. Doesn't matter who you are. Food is a human necessity. Food, water, and shelter, and health care. We're not promised any of those things in the United States.
Yeah, and by all means, yes, it's crazy and it's absurd and it's whatever, it's horrific, and whatever the word, the word, whatever, you can make up your own word, how horrific it is. Every family's circumstance is different. You can't put a blanket statement on every family's circumstance. And even in their situation, who knows? Why are they trying to use their card on November 1st? Some people still have a balance on their card. Maybe they still had a balance on their card. Maybe they didn't even know the cuts were happening. Maybe they weren't informed. Maybe they were, probably spending 60, 70 hours at work and didn't care to open up. Even though I think this is, very well known around the United States, but as a whole, you do have families who genuinely had no idea that this was going to happen. You do. It's a very small subset, but you do, but now as a result of this, you have grocery stores that are looking just like this.
Good morning. I want you to look at something and you're not going to believe it. It is the first of the month. There's the front door.
Now, I think it's important that we pause right here because I always like to get context. I always like to see, what time it is. I think every single store is not going to look like this. He said this is a Walmart, in the neighborhood Walmart. So, Walmarts are normally pretty packed. I'm not saying, every single store is going to look like that. But God, when I see videos like this, it makes me wonder what is going on, especially in a Walmart when every single Walmart that I have been inside, it's always been jam packed. But I could be completely wrong. The store probably just opened. He probably just walked in the store, whatever time they open up. So I'm not going to make any bold claims. But, y'all see the video. I'm going to let it speak for itself, though.
In the neighborhood Walmart. And look how slow it is. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, you got to go around the corner. Let's look. Okay, let's go where the noodles are. The shelves are full.
Yeah, and this is going viral all over the internet. And by all means, I'm not saying that, I'm not going to come on this video and make any bold claims because I actually went to the grocery store today and it was a good amount of people in there. By all means, it wasn't completely empty, but it was a lot less people than normal. And y'all know Trump also was forced to give 50% of SNAP benefits. They haven't hit just yet, not from my knowledge, but as a whole, they were forced to propose and push forward with the funding to provide to these families. So overall, a lot of people are finding out exactly what they are supporting. A lot of people are, dealing with the ramifications of what other people support. It sucks, but this is just how the whole system works. And we are continue to, deal with these policies until a solution is made. And I don't know how long the government is going to be shut down. As a matter of fact, y'all can let me know in the comment section below how long you think the government is going to be shut down. But it doesn't look like we're finding an end to this situation anytime soon. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, and the only way that we can help and support this whole thing is, donate, donate to the food banks. That's what I've been doing. I've been supporting, finding different food banks where I can go out. And I'll actually make a video about that pretty soon about how, because it's not just food stamps, guys. It's federal government employees as well. You know what I mean? It's other people as well. It's not just, food stamps. It's so many different people. He said, Red Friday. Yeah, airports are suffering bad. Absolutely, Lee. The airports are getting destroyed right now. I've made multiple videos about it. I'm going to give it a break, but I think the deeper we go into it, the worse it's going to get, honestly. I think they're going to have to sweep in and give funding to the airports, too. Just like how they're doing with food stamps. Yep. Not all Walmarts are dangerous. Yeah, just like how they're doing food stamps, though. I think they're going to eventually have to sweep in and give them funding. But we'll see, though. Because the deeper it gets into it, it's going to get even worse. With no air traffic controllers, and there's been a lot of, close calls, a lot of crazy things that are going on. It's scary. TSA agents, deciding to, it's crazy. It's so bad, but only time will tell, and I hope they can go ahead and figure it out. All right, y'all. Next segment. Let's dive into it. So, in the midst of this, I don't know if y'all have seen, but you have a lot of banks right now who are running out of money, quite literally, right? With the crisis that is going on across the United States. You have a lot of banks that are running out of money. Specifically because of the federal government, because of, the job market every single day, all the layoffs have been announced. So it's crazy, but so many people are, getting repossessed. So it's a mix of this all, but let's check this out.
Our family vehicle is likely about to get repossessed. My 27th birthday is in 3 days, and I feel like a failure. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 beautiful children. I've been struggling really hard as to whether or not I was going to put this video out onto the internet. Because quite frankly, it's embarrassing. I have a lot of people that I know from back home and people that I know where I live now that watch some of these videos, whether they follow me and watch or whether they look me up and are lurking. And people love to see you fail. But on TikTok, people also really love to see you succeed. I've kind of come to terms with the fact that the car's going to get repossessed because, quite frankly, I'm not going to be able to come up with the money in time. But I figure I'm going to shoot my shot either way. I only have 1,590 followers, and I did get into the TikTok shop affiliate.
Yeah, and shout out to the creator. I think pretty much she's gonna spend the rest of this video kind of asking for support. If y'all want to check out, her name is Holloway Home on TikTok. I'm gonna actually link the video in the description as well when I repost this segment. But yes, you have a lot of people who are going through this right now as we speak. It's for many different reasons, right? We know the economy is falling apart as we speak. Within, the cost of living, you also have job market as falling apart as well, right? It's many different ways. But as a whole, I don't think her situation is necessarily from the federal government or the hot topics right now that we're dealing with within the company. But you have many different banks. There are so many people as car repos skyrocket within America, and car repos are going through the roof right now. The average car, cost within America as we speak is $50,000. The new cars, not the used, but the average new car price, and even used cars. I think the average used car right now is even like 32 or something like that. Some crazy absurd number. But guys, at the end of the day, guys, these car repos skyrocketing, all of these people who are getting floor codes on homes, losing their jobs, banks are panicking, and they have decided that they are going to start pulling money and getting reserves from the federal government. Let's check this out, y'all.
Wanted to make another quick update video. So I was talking to someone that works for a media organization, and they were like, why is no one covering what's happening with the banks right now and the repo market? And I was like, well, if you cover that, it's going to immediately cause a run on the banks, and it is going to cause a decline in the stock market. But here is the seriousness of what is happening right now that I explained to this individual. So as you have noticed, in 2 weeks, the banks have borrowed $50 billion in emergency liquidity that was not accessed anywhere near those levels last year. That right there is an indicator we have a serious issue. And then on top of that, if you look at the borrowing that was done by this, but today on the repo market, $8 billion of it was mortgage-backed securities versus treasuries. So I give you the pawn shop analogy. When you need to go get quick cash, a diamond ring is a treasury. That's like a $100 bill, right? You give that as collateral and you get back cash. Mortgage-backed securities are garbage. It's a stack of IOUs on the backs of people's mortgages that aren't even being paid right now. So what you guys need to understand, billions and billions and billions of dollars of direct deposits, government funding to contractors, none of that is happening. So none of this liquidity is going into the banks. Worse yet, because a lot of individuals work for the government and work for the military, they cannot pay loans back. So they can't pay car loans, they can't pay credit cards, they can't pay mortgages. That's how banks get cash back. So if banks are not getting direct deposits from the government and no funding from any government source at this point in time, and they're not receiving paybacks on loans, and all that's happening is people are taking cash out. They're taking cash out of their various banks to cover rent, to cover mortgage, to cover car loans. That's why this November 1st date is so fucking dangerous.
And they don't want to talk about that. This is also why they were forced. The judges decided to force, funding through the systems, food stamps. Y'all know what I'm saying? This is why they were forced, because how catastrophic it is going to be for not only Americans, but also the American economy. Banks. You also have massive corporations like Walmart who depend on these programs for a significant portion of their revenue that they receive every single month. You also have grocery stores. You also have many other systems, many other places that depend on these systems funding. You have companies who rely on funding for the government who have been paused throughout this entire system. Guys, it's not just as black and white as you guys look at it. It's just the people who are taking advantage. It's just illegal immigrants. It's just whatever. This government shutdown impacts not only the people who are on these programs, but also the people who are not on these programs. And if we continue this government shutdown any longer than, a couple months from now, who knows what the ramifications are going to be as a whole. And before we get too deep into it, I do have to give a shout out to the creator as well. Her name is Cheerleader for Change. I think she works for a news department or something. She talks very well. But anyways, as we dive deep into it, we're going to let her speak a little bit longer. And, it's crazy to see how all of this is falling out within a matter of weeks.
Because car loans are due on the 1st. Mortgages are due on the 1st. Credit cards are due on the 1st. And
it's not everything that's due on the 1st. It is depending on the terms that you have accepted with your bank, right? Every single bank is completely different, but I get what she's saying.
So all the direct deposits that are not showing up from the federal government workers to contractors to any other agency that's not getting paid. I don't know about the military yet. I still don't know if they were able to come up with the $9 billion, but let's say that doesn't happen either. Now the banks are out billions and billions and billions of dollars, and they're not getting any loan repayments coming in. So what do I think's going to happen next week? And it clearly looks like the shutdown will go into next week. I think there might be very well a run on some of the smaller banks. I've heard reports, I don't know how true they are, but some individuals are having trouble, especially trying to get out large sums of cash. So a few individuals I've seen comments on just through the TikTok who said, they tried to take out a large deposit, bank wouldn't grant that, wouldn't allow that to.
Yeah, and of course they're going to be more careful, and banks have always been careful about how much money they allow you to withdraw. It just depends on the situation, and you have to show a certain amount of documentation. But regardless, we're here. There's nothing more we can do, and more car repos continue to happen, more foreclosures continue to happen, and it's going to continue until we see a lot of this shutdown stop. By all means, though, I'm not giving an excuse for a lot of the people who, who sit back and increase their lifestyle. I'm not giving an excuse for those people. I'm just saying people in general, right? People who are dealing with the federal government, people who are dealing with, the food stamps going away and all these other programs. But as a whole, you also have situations like this on top of that, who are dealing with their car repos. So you add both of those together, it is absolutely a recipe for disaster.
I'm not mad. I'm scared because who does that?
Who gave your car?
I don't know.
Who gave your car? Who gave your car?
Who does that? Who does that?
Yeah, so like she said in the description up here, she thought that her car got, robbed. She thought somebody stole her car, but in actuality, her car got repossessed. And she reposted this video after the fact. But yeah, she was with her 2 kids. We don't know her situation. We don't know if she lost her job or she just fell behind. But as a whole, this is a result. This is what happens when you see things like this, when you see families start to struggle, when you see a lot of people start to deal with a lot of these, the economy, then car repos happen. But like I said, as a caveat, you also have people who go out and buy massive car payments, get massive, expensive cars, and they get cars they can't afford. So in the midst of it, of course, you're going to deal with that. When you can't afford the car, then you're going to get your car repo. You're going to miss payments. You're going to miss car payments. That's just how the system works. But we're here now. The economy is already, in shambles. I don't know how much worse it can get. I guess we can see every time I say that, it somehow gets even worse somehow. But I don't even know what to say about this. I don't even know what else to say. But I'm gonna switch I'm gonna move it up. Let's pick the spirits back up a little bit more. And let's pick the spirits up a little bit. I got a couple laughs for y'all because I think it's funny. And you know what? I gotta find the original. As a matter, let me find the original video because I think it's very important that we cover this before I dive into this. Yeah, the repo, absolutely, one girl. The data shows an increase of 42,000 jobs this month. Of course, they're always going to show an increase. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. How do they show an increase of jobs when a couple companies alone have decided to do massive layoffs? Where's the increase coming from? Where's the increase coming from? Cow, is it Zukau? Sukau? I don't know. All right, let me find the toast lady. Y'all remember the toast lady, man? The toast lady was so funny. That was a hilarious video. Like I laughed so hard on that video making it. Here we go. And she took that video down, so I think it's important. All right, we're gonna dive back into it. All right, let me see here. Let me get it back on the computer. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't care what the numbers say. I could care. I actually couldn't care any less about what the numbers say that they're going to come out with. They're going to come out with some random numbers with the job market. They're going to say, oh, they increased and the job is not that good, and this shows how great the economies are and all these different. They're going to come out with whatever job numbers they want to come out with, even though they fired the lady who was whatever. They're going to say whatever, right? I don't care. I truly don't care because it doesn't show what's on the grounds. They can say they created 100,000 jobs. They can say they created 100,000 jobs. Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, the job report hasn't come out yet because of the shutdown. They can't get accurate numbers. Right, but even if they come out, they can say they created 100,000 jobs this month. And I still wouldn't believe them. I still wouldn't believe them because think about it. And I'm sorry for getting off topic. I got to dive back into this, but I think it's important. If they say they created 100,000 jobs throughout this whole system and beyond what we've seen from the announcements, y'all, I covered so many layoff videos within the past couple weeks. I don't care if they said they created 1 million jobs. I could care less. What is happening on the grounds of everyday Americans? You know, I don't care. They can say they created 100. I could care less. What is going on the grounds? What is everybody going through right now? Come on. Let's be real here. Let's be real. All right, let's dive into it though. All right, so y'all remember this lady. and you know what? What should I do first actually? You know what? Let's do this one first actually. Oh, this is hilarious, y'all. This is hilarious. All right, let's dive into it, y'all. Let's dive into it.
I made a lot of mistakes. I'm an imperfect person, just like you are, just like everybody else is. We all make mistakes, right? But do you grow and learn from those things?
So do y'all remember the toast lady who came out here who was making fun of all the people who are on food stamps? And she since deleted that video, but don't worry, I got it right here. Let me refresh your brain so you guys remember what happened.
This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money?
So this lady right here, and basically she has been getting ridiculed online as of late. She got fired from her job. 2, on people, she's getting flooded by so many people on social media by how she was talking. You know, this whole video right here, this whole video caused so much and it went viral. When I say it went viral, so many people, you even had news stations who were covering this whole subject because it started a trend of so many people from the right side, from the conservative, from MAGA and all these different movements who were making fun of people who were getting their food stamp cuts. They were sitting out here and laughing and joking and all these different things. So then she found out exactly, you know, what she was making fun of, which I don't get. I couldn't understand why so many people made fun of this whole situation. But in reality, I mean, I guess they find it funny. I guess they find people suffering, people struggling funny, right? But anyways, she made this video, you know, and she ended up apologizing for, you know, making this video after the consequences, after so many people, you know, started to make fun of it. But let's check the video out. And this, you know, I laugh because it's funny because, you know, it's crazy how all this comes out after she made the video making fun of people and all these different things. But, you know, now she's coming back and apologizing. Let's check it out. And I think it's important that we cover this throughout because she also did an interview as well with a person. I don't know who the guy is. But anyways, let's check this out.
Hi, guys. I know you guys are waiting for my video explaining myself. I did just finish my interview with Wayne, and it didn't go exactly the way I expected it to go. I thought he was actually going to ask me a lot different questions than he did ask me. So I just wanted to preface the interview video by letting you know that there will be more videos coming forth that will further explain my position on the food stamps issue. I just want to say to everybody while you're waiting for that video that I didn't get a chance to fully explain myself because he wanted to keep things short. But also, I never intended to hurt anyone's feelings. Anyone who knows me in real life, that I interact with on a regular basis, knows that I'm not a hateful or harmful person. I would never purposely, intentionally mock a group of people, especially poor people, when I myself have been poor. More times, often than not. I mean, I used to make really good money at one point, and then I was down to making no money. And I've gone up and down, but that's what life is. Life is a whole bunch of mountains that we have to climb, and then you go down and climb, go down.
So because you made it through your mountain, you made it through your valleys, you can go back and you do it. I don't even need to go back and play the video. I think it's self-explanatory. I think so many people are like, and I'm trying to laugh because she's being serious, and I'm not trying to beat her up as well, because shout out to her. It takes a level of humility to come back out and speak out, because I think it's very important. I'm not saying what she's saying is 100% on timing or on purpose or whatever. Because when she went and pulled out her phone, she decided to go on her phone and click up on TikTok and go out here and say all these big things and, oh, what happened to last month for food? She decided to do that. Nobody forced her to go out here and make that video. So now, as a result of that, all the ridicule and all the backlash and all the crazy different things that are happening against her because of the freedom of speech that she was allowed to, exercise in her life. Now she's getting destroyed and ridiculed all over. So now you start to apologize. And by all means, I accept your apology, right? But I can't speak for everybody else around the internet. I can't speak for everybody else, because as a whole, can you imagine how that impacted so many other people's lives? Because this is a serious situation. You have so many people right now within America right now who are dealing with these different things, and they are devastated. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from. But anyways, let me let the video play. I think I can dive too deep into it, and I think y'all just came here to watch the video. Let's check this out.
That's just how life is. But it was never my intent to hurt anyone's feelings. And I also really need to make it clear that I was not talking to all food stamp recipients. I know I'm going to forever be known as the toast lady, but I'm really hoping through all of this that we can turn this into something positive rather than negative. And just know that any proceeds from the video that I post now, this video, and going forward, any videos that have to do with this subject and the video that I posted in the past, there will be donations made to my local food pantry. A church that I used to go to, I actually sold a mattress to the lady who runs the food pantry there, and they were the sweetest couple. They were the nicest, and she had told me when she was in that the food pantry was really suffering and they needed a lot more food coming in. And that was just within the last couple of weeks. But all of this has happened within the last week, and I have not had a chance to go and donate and do the things that I normally do because I've been so enthralled with all of this. I'm on news channels and people are making South Park, AI videos about me. And, there's a lot of comments I've responded to, hundreds of thousands of comments and videos, and it's been a lot. So just know that there will be further explanation coming, but all the proceeds from any of these videos is going to go to that food pantry.
Yo, this is hilarious. And I'm sorry. I can't because I don't like to do this on my channel, because I truly don't. And I'm not trying to make fun of her by all means, because, I think a lot of people are making fun of her because it just seems such a bad timing, and it sucks, right? It sucks because she made this one mistake. And, who knows if she was intentionally trying to make a mistake, or was she trying to just get views, or did she find it funny during the time, or whatever case is. Who knew what her true intentions were in the moment? I think a lot of people thought that she was just driving hate, right? A lot of people did. But I truly hope that she goes out and support a lot of these food banks. I truly hope that she, speaks up to her word and donate against whatever she talked about in the video, right? I truly hope she does. But it just seems so convenient that after she gets destroyed on the internet, now she's coming back around and trying to fix up and clean up the mess that she made. And by all means, people deserve forgiveness. People deserve, but I can't force most people in the world right now who are watching this video and they're like, she made a mistake. She decided, and she got to deal with the consequences. That's what most people are, but by all means, she made the decision. Now she's dealing with the consequences. This is crazy. But anyways, she did an interview. And the guy is, I'm going to just let it speak for itself.
Given the fact that the SNAP program is in jeopardy and 30% of the recipients are either disabled or elderly, a lot of people thought that your video was tone deaf, giving not only the timing, but offensive to a lot of people. They thought that you lacked humility and compassion and were punching down. And I agree. What do you say about that? Your tone.
Okay. So as far as the tone goes, it definitely was an aggravated tone for me. And it came because I had just watched another video that, kind of set me off, right?
Was it the one you mentioned in your video that someone had been making $1,100 on food stamps? Was that the video you were watching?
Correct. That was one of the videos that I had watched that really led me to make that video because I was really aggravated. I had just woken up and I made breakfast. As everybody saw, I was eating my peanut butter toast.
Which was so dry. I mean, that toast. All right, we got to stay right there. Y'all, that toast, when I say I heard the crunch, y'all, that toast was so black and so hard. And she made a breakfast and I guess that, you know what? I think the toast that she did in that video was such a great marketing tactic because now that's what she's known for, the toast lady. Y'all see what I put in the title. She is the toast lady. But anyways, let's get back on topic.
But as a Christian, I do realize that the humility that I am receiving from this means that I should recognize those mistakes and learn from them. And also in this particular instance, care more about how I made everybody feel. And it was never my intention to make people feel bad about themselves for receiving assistance. I know a lot of families need assistance.
So you're apologizing for your tone. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely am apologizing for the tone in the video. I don't believe that what I said was necessarily wrong in the video. I just believe the way I said it and the fact that I didn't show the audience who exactly the audience was.
Do we even need to listen anymore? Because what is the point then? What is the point? I think it's important we listen, as a matter of fact, because what is he going to say? How is he going to respond? She basically just said she doesn't apologize for what she said. She only apologizes for the tone of what she said. I cannot make this up, y'all. I cannot. This isn't some fake. This isn't AI. This is straight from her channel. Y'all. Seriously, what? What is happening? It's straight from her channel, y'all. She literally said, I don't apologize for what I said. Anyway, you know what? Let's see how he responds, because I think he's going to say something that's very important here.
Was that I was looking for in that video that I was speaking directly to. I think it was misinterpreted and not communicated.
So you apologize for your tone. To me, it came off like someone just pissed in your Cheerios or your toast, I guess. You mentioned about the things that you said were not wrong, you said. Now, you did mention that the Democrats were responsible for the shutdown. Whether or not it was right or wrong, was it necessary to include in this video? And the reason I asked that is because if I were a Democrat and I was on food stamps, not only would it feel like you're punching me in the face for the food stamps, but you're also punching me in the face for my alignment. And I would think, does this woman hate me that much?
No, first off, I don't hate anyone, okay? Let's get that straight. I don't hate anyone. I don't wish ill will on anyone. As far as the Democrats go, and the reason why I brought up Democrats in the video is because most people knew that there was a government shutdown, that it was imminent, and I wanted them to be prepared. I came from a place more of preparedness and aggravation at the same time, which is why I asked people if they shopped smartly, if they stocked up on pantry items with their October food stamp money, because the Democrats are holding people hostage right now, and they're using them, by their own words, as leverage. And I don't think that they should be doing that. There's been a clean CR that's been voted on 13 times now, and they absolutely refuse to pass that bill.
What kind of peanut?
All right, so, and we're going to, just because she said she doesn't apologize for what she said, she only apologizes for her tone. Let's check this out one more time, just to build last context for this whole situation.
What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items and try to shop smartly? Or did you just go buy a bunch of processed garbage? By the way, you can thank the Democrats for the government being shut down and your benefits not coming through for November. Looks like you're going to be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal. I know a lot of food pantries hand out turkeys for Thanksgiving. All the sides and trimmings too. Lots of food pantries. You better figure it out. I'm sick of hearing you complain, honestly. You ever have this as a meal? I'm eating peanut butter and butter on toast. It's absolutely delicious. You should try it. And not for nothing, I saw this woman that said she was getting $1,100 a month in food stamps. Do you know how long I could make $1,100 in food stamps last?
So she doesn't apologize for anything that she said, right? So, I mean, what was the whole point of the video that she made? You know, that this is why people are just like, oh, we don't forgive her. This is why people are just like, all right, you backtrack, great. Thank you for backtracking, but you basically you still have the same idea, but because you get destroyed on the internet, now you're just like, all right, I'm back in a while. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. But anyways, this is what's going on. It's a funny story. It's so funny how this is unfolding. And I'm not driving hate to her. I'm not saying go out here and ridicule her. I think it's just funny how this whole thing. And I think even the toast, right? Like, it's so funny, like how hard it is. And that's just the whole theme of the whole story, you know, but it is what it is. And, you know, this is what happens when, you know, you exercise free speech. You know, it's great. Freedom of speech, by all means. But come on, man. Come on. Yes, that's freedom of speech, by all means. It's a great thing, but it doesn't take you away from the consequences of the actions that you made, you know? It doesn't take you away from that. That is hilarious, y'all. I needed that laugh. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. All right, Lee, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you joining. I'll see you next time. Encourage you all to study resets in history. There's plenty. Yeah, I think we're going through a reset now, though. I think so. She doesn't live far from me. Zombie face, she got it. All right. So anyways, on to the next FAFO story, y'all. Everybody's finding out this year. Jeez. Everybody is finding out. Everybody is finding out. Y'all ready to dive into this? I'm ready. Y'all ready for this next one? I am ready. We got so many today, y'all. There's so many. I was just like scrolling. It was just back to back. And I was like, whoa, what is happening? What is happening? There's so many FAFOs. So many find outs. FAFOs. You F around and you find out. Everybody is finding out, Denny. Absolutely, Denny. All right, y'all. Let's dive into it, man. Let's dive into it.
SNAP victims. Here's a great idea. Go get a job. I mean, I have to go to work 5 days a week. Why don't you? And I am so sick and tired of hearing, oh, people aren't going to have holidays and blah, 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 blah. Get a job. It is not my job to support your ass. Get your ass out and get a damn job. End of story. If I can do it, you can do it. Why don't we start a movement called Let's All Get a Job? Why don't you try and jump on that train for a little while? Because I'm over your shit. Victimizing bullshit. Your snaps being stopped. Get a job. I'm busting my ass for you to stay home. Get a job.
I am so confused when I watch videos like this. And when I watch this, I truly, and I try to listen from an objective and unbiased perspective, because y'all know what I think about this whole situation. When I watch videos like this, and it really does kind of frustrates me. It kind of makes my skin boil, right? Because Seriously, her whole point of making this video is telling people who are on food stamps right now to go and get a job. Because, of course, everybody who's on food stamps right now, they don't have a job right now, right? They're not working. They're just living off the government. They're just living for free. They're just out here just freeloading the government and, taking advantage of the system. And it seems like she watches so much Fox News to think that so many people are just out here living lavishly and just living for free. By all means, once again, I have to give disclaimers, and I have to recognize that, yes, there are some people that are on these programs and that are living for free and are taking advantage of the programs. By all means. And that happens across the board. That happens in any circumstance that we can bring up, right? And I'm not saying that they should continue to be able to do it, but on the flip side, why? You know what? Anyways, after this video, this is the follow-up video that she made after she continued to, she got ridiculed for that video. People, it actually went viral, and she went back and, I'm going to just let it play for itself, and we'll break it down afterwards.
Okay, so this is for all the asinine people that are commenting in my comments. I'm not talking about the working class citizens. I can't even believe that you guys aren't smart enough to associate where I'm going with that video. Okay, why is the government shut down? What are they fighting over? Do you all even know? Because I'm going to tell you a little story. I was laid off over the summer, and I tried to get health care, okay? I've worked my whole life, was laid off for 2 months. 2 months, I couldn't get a thing. Not one thing. They wouldn't give.
I'm sorry, and I guys see. Look, I knew there was some kind of alternative mode. I knew it was, and we see it across the board. So because you couldn't get the program, because you didn't qualify, because you weren't eligible, so now you have to sit back and make fun of all the other people that are on these programs because you didn't get approved for it. And by all means, I'm going to be unbiased because I know the perspective that I always speak on. I support these programs. I want people like you to get these programs. I want people, because you got laid off, because you went through a time because of the economy. Y'all know the economy is going through so many crazy things right now. You got laid off. You weren't able to support yourself in some perspective of life, right? Because if anything happened to you during that time, it would have been catastrophic because you didn't have health care. But because you voted against this and you supported all these other policies and it doesn't benefit you, now you have to ridicule and make fun of everybody else that, are on these programs. It makes no sense. And we see this over and over and over again, but I'm gonna let it play. Maybe there's a caveat to this. Maybe there's some other perspective that I might be missing. Let's build more context in this situation.
Me any help at all? Zero. Okay, so how is this okay for people that are coming here to set up shop illegally? All right, and they're reaping the benefits hand over fist. No. And the simple mere fact that that's okay with any of you on the other end of this is really disturbing. All right, because I go to work every day. All right, I pay a boatload of taxes out of my paycheck. It's absolutely absurd what they take out of my paycheck. All right, and for me to go to work every day to fund somebody else's livelihood that is in this country, first of all, that doesn't belong here, that's here illegally, is disgusting. Make it make sense to me. Make it make sense. And elderly and children, really? Well, no shit, they're not going to work. I mean, let's get real here. Y'all got this so twisted up. I didn't want to have to spell it out. I'm not talking about the working class citizens, okay? I am talking about people that are coming to our country, setting up shop, illegally. It's bad enough they're coming here illegally, but then.
All right, so her whole point in this is because illegal immigrants use these programs. That's basically what she's saying right now. Oh my God, this narrative, y'all. This narrative, this propaganda, this Fox News, this whatever the case, whatever, like, oh my God, y'all. I can't, and it's so hard to watch this video because, like, am I crazy? Am I, like, missing something? And why? Because why? Why? Oh my God. I gotta let it play because it is giving me a headache, but I think we gotta build even more context, y'all. This is crazy. I just, come on. All right, what is happening? Why is it not playing now? What is happening? All right, so now my now my computer isn't working. It was at the 154 mark. All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on. 154 mark. Let me try to reset this again. Let's see here. 154. 154. 154. Jeez. Sorry about
Bad
that.
enough they're coming here illegally, but then they're on here literally on TikTok flexing everything that they have gotten or are getting from the government. So what hardworking class citizen wouldn't be on here madder than a wet hen thinking like, what? Are you kidding me? I couldn't get a dime. I couldn't get anything. I wasn't even asking for money or SNAP. I wanted health insurance and was denied multiple times. I was denied at a 1-day deadline that I missed. A 1-day deadline. So I don't need to hear y'all coming for me in the comments because quite frankly, I really don't care. I'm entitled to my own opinion. And I thought people on the other end would be smart enough to associate where I was going.
No, but that's not what you said, though. That is not what you said whatsoever. You said to go get a job. You said that because the people on these systems don't have a job. You said that, you know, a lot of these people in these programs and they don't come out here and work. They don't come out here and do the things that they need to be on these eligible on these programs. And now you're backtracking. Now you're trying to pick and choose which one you want to pick. And by all means, I think it's important that you do research, right? I think it's important that you understand what percent of people are actually on these programs compared to the entire program, right? Because there's this narrative that all these systems are, in place and all these systems are being used and have been taken advantage of by all these illegal immigrants, when in actuality, that's not the case. Let's be real here. And she said in the first video, go get a job. She said, go get a job, which is basically inferring that all the people who are on these programs, all these people who are getting this assistance don't have a job. That's what she is saying. That is quite literally what she is saying. I don't understand what kind of backtrack is need from what kind of clarification. What more clarification do you need from that video? What more clarification? But by all means, I'm not saying, to drive hate. I'm not saying that, whatever. I'm not saying any kind of hate, right? Because at the end of the day, maybe she's just trying to, I don't know. She decided to go on her phone and click record, right? She decided to go out, pull out her phone and make that TikTok. And now that she's getting like all this backlash and all this intense, everybody's mad at her. Now she's like, oh, I'm backtracking. Oh, I didn't support that. That's not what I meant by all this. Are you serious? Come on. What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about right now? Let me see here. I'm trying to find the number. I was trying to do a little bit more research to find the exact. I can't find it though. Anyways, it is what it is. This is what a lot of people they get their news and information from Fox News or whatever. But yep. Let me see here. Naturalized citizens, other than orange non-citizens. Here we go. 4%. Let me pull this back up for y'all. 4%. 4%. To be specific, 4.4% are refugees and other non-citizens. 4.4%. Now, if we're talking about 4.4% compared to the other 96%, if you're worried about that versus everything else that's going on within the country, you're worried about the 4.4% versus everything else that is happening right now within the country. Be my guest, by all means. Be my guest. Seriously. I mean, be my guest. I mean, I guess we can say 0%, right? Do we want it at 0? I guess, right? Maybe. It just depends on what kind of person are you. What are your values, right? Why is it 4%? There's many different reasons why it's at 4%, right? But it just depends on what your values. It depends on your values. It depends on your values. It depends on your values. 4.4%, y'all. Anyways, let's move on. 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 All right. So, because she made that video, I think this is the type of person she was referring to. And, you know, I don't like to react to these kind of videos because they draw this false narrative and all these different things. But I think it's important that we dive into it, right? I think it's important that we cover topics like this because, you know, this is real. This is what people are going through, and this is the it depends. This is you know, what people this is what people are talking about. You know, this is what people, this is the type of person that she was referring to, right? Which is the exception by all means, right? This is the exception, not the rule, by all means. This is the exception. The exception, not the rule. All right. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you just joined the live stream, we just watched a video of a lady who just said, you know, all food stamp people don't have a job. Go get a job. If you own food stamps, go get a job, right? You're not working. You're lazy. You don't do anything. That's basically what she was saying, right? But in reality, that's not the case through facts, many other facts, right? But in this case, you know, and also she was saying illegal immigrants take up a lot of these programs, which we just talked about was, well, what was the number again? 4.4%, you know, 4.4% out of 96%, you know, of people on these programs. Y'all see the graph. This orange and this red are the only percentages of people, you know, it's the only percentage of people who are on these programs. You said some of these videos are rage bait. Yeah. You're right. I think we're going to leave this one. As a matter of fact, I think we're not going to watch this one. Because I think it's rage bait, actually. We're not going to watch that one. I actually only have one more. Yeah, I only have one more for today, y'all. I got more, but we're going to save that for another day. Where are we going to head? Let me make a decision here. Let me make a quick decision. So, you know what? Yeah, we don't talk about this enough. Let's dive into this one here. Because we got a lot more to talk about in just regular videos. So we're going to dive into this one. And then I got one more, and then we're going to call it a stream. All right, let's dive into it, though. Federal workers are still not getting paid. Meanwhile, right? And so these are stories. And of course, I always like to bring y'all stories as what's going on, right? Because on the flip side, people don't talk enough about the stories that are going on. People only want to talk about the funny things, the hot topics, the, you know, people who are, I guess, suffering on the other case, right? People only like to talk about the negative things when in actuality, like, people are actually, you know, dealing with craziness right now as a result of the federal, you know, government cuts. So anyways, let's dive into it, y'all.
This is getting ridiculous. Federal workers not being paid. My husband goes to work for 10 hours a day, and we have nothing in the bank. We had to borrow money from our neighbor to buy groceries because we don't have any money because he's not getting paid. I don't understand why they can't still pay these workers. They already have the money in the budget. This is ridiculous. They still get paid. Why are they still paid if they don't do their job? Why are they not required to stay at their job until they finish it? What do they expect people to do? I found out they can't turn off our electric and they can't turn off our water. What happens if they don't end up paying these people? What if they don't pay everybody for their work? What happens next month when nobody gets any SNAP benefits?
Yeah, and it's already happening right now as we speak. Of course, they've already, pushed through 50% of these programs already. And so he said the clips are so low I can barely hear. Yeah, Danny. You know what we're going to do? I think I'm actually going to move away from this one here as well. Let's dive into this last thing that I want to show you guys. Let's check out this somebody was telling me to watch the speech of Zoran. So I think it's important that we cover this one here. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, let's dive into this one here, and then I think this will be the last perspective that we're gonna go from as well, y'all. All right, yeah, that video, that clip out there was, yeah. I'm actually, you know what? Once I get the audio right, once I get the audio on that one right, I will I'll post that one as like a regular video. As a matter of fact, yeah. So we can check that out on a different day. But anyways, I saw people were saying like, oh, watch the his speech. Let's check it out. I think it's important we cover this. Let's check it out.
Is on the stage to an electrified crowd at Brooklyn headquarters. History made tonight.
Thank you, my friends. The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater.
And I gotta say, from the perspective, that I have from, what I expect from the leaders that we have within the country, I will say from the jump, I can say that he speaks very, very well, and he has a nice mannered tone. Almost remind me of, previous presidents of the United States. Not that he's a president, he's just a mayor, right? But at the end of the day, I think he's, that's the one thing that is sticking out to me, especially, in comparison to the video that we just watched earlier from Trump. I don't even think we need to revisit that because that was just, it was just brutal. It was just so brutal watching that video, right? But, this is the first thing I will say, just from noticing just how he is speaking. He's speaking from a way of a tone of hope, I think, from this whole speech here. But anyways, I enjoy it. I think it's easier to swallow, but let's dive into it. Let's see actually the content of what he's speaking from. I'm just speaking from the tone right now. Let's see more of the content.
Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands. My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name as we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few.
The one thing I will say is like they're literally celebrating after everything that he's like every three words that he's saying, like they're celebrating. I don't know. By all means, let's build more context, more content of what he's saying. Like I want him to be able to say more than 3 sentences in a row. Let's just let it play a little bit longer though.
New York, Tonight you have delivered a mandate for change, a mandate for a new kind of politics, a mandate for a city we can afford, and a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that. On January 1st, I will be sworn in as the mayor of New York City.
Yeah, they're excited.
And that is because of you. So before I say anything else, I must say this. Thank you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refused to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum. Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. To every New Yorker in Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point, know this. This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too. This campaign is about people like Wesley, an $11.99 organizer I met outside of Elmhurst Hospital on Thursday night. A New Yorker who lives elsewhere, who commutes 2 hours each way from Pennsylvania because rent is too expensive in this city. It's about people like the woman I met on the BX33 years ago, who said to me, I used to love New York, but now it's just where I live. And it's about people like Richard, the taxi driver I went on a 15-day hunger strike with outside of City Hall, who still has to drive his cab 7 days a week. My brother, we are in City Hall now.
I think they're just very excited. So we're gonna dive. Let's go a little bit deeper into the speech here. A lot of this is just like, you know, a celebration more than, you know, what he's talking about, his plans are. But by all means, I think a lot of people, a lot of the city right now is celebrating. A lot of people are just excited as to what is going on. You know, I guess we'll see. A lot of people, you know, have many different perspectives. A lot of people have, you know, whatever. It just depends. But let me see what else he has to say about this.
New York, we have answered those fears. Tonight, we have spoken in a clear voice. Hope is alive.
Yeah, I saw that, John. I saw that. Yeah. And you said watch the last 5 minutes. That's the best part. All right, let's zoom on a little bit more.
We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed. New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant. So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us. When we enter City Hall in 58 days, expectations will be high. We will meet them. A great New Yorker once said that while you campaign in poetry, you govern in prose. If that must be true, let the prose we write still rhyme, and let us build a shining city for all. And we must chart a new path, as bold as the one we have already traveled. After all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate. I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older. I am Muslim. I am a democratic socialist. And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this. And yet, if tonight teaches us anything, it is that convention has held us back. We have bowed at the altar of caution, and we have paid a mighty price. Too many working people cannot recognize themselves in our party. And too many among us have turned to the right for answers to why they've been left behind. We will leave mediocrity in our past. No longer will we have to open a history book for proof that Democrats can dare to be great. Our greatness will be anything but abstract. It will be felt by every rent-stabilized tenant who wakes up on the first of every month, knowing the amount they're going to pay hasn't soared since the month before. It will be felt by each grandparent who can afford to stay in the home they have worked for, and whose grandchildren live nearby because the cost of childcare didn't send them to Long Island. It will be felt by the single mother who is safe on her commute and whose bus runs fast enough that she doesn't have to rush school drop-off to make it to work on time. And it will be felt when New Yorkers open their newspapers in the morning and read headlines of success, not scandal.
Yeah, shout out to New York. I think we just got to kind of wait and see how all this unfolds. I didn't get what I was looking for from this speech, but I mean, it is just a victory speech, right? Like I don't know what I expected, but I do think it is promising for the state, for the city of New York. New York's got its own big struggles though. Like it's a huge city, and there's so many different like aspects of the city that many people are trying to address. Oh, you said play it to the end. Play it to the end is worth it. All right, let's play it to the end. Let's see what we got.
Most of all, it will be felt by each New Yorker when the city they love finally loves them back. Together, New York, we're going to freeze the... Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and... Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal... Let the words we've spoken together, the dreams we've dreamt together, become the agenda we deliver together. New York, this power, it's yours. This city belongs to you. Thank you.
Now I see why. Okay, all right. I got hope. All right, I do have. He said universal health care. Now I know traveling in New York is also an issue, so he also talked about traveling in New York, right? That's also huge. But universal health care. Now I'm gonna be quite honest with y'all. that speech right there, and by all means, I think I was expecting something completely different, right? But now I have to realize that is just a victory speech, right? That is just a speech that, people give when they win, right? He's pretty much just speaking from all different perspectives of, what is going on. But I'm very, I'm very hopeful. It reminds me of, like you guys said, the President Obama, when he came into office, he spoke from, people's everyday struggles and not from, what everybody else is doing. He talked about the American people, but oh yeah, Herb, I did skip. I saw a portion of it. He talked about Trump a little bit. I'm very curious to see how Trump is going to react to this whole situation as well. Right. I see that he made a video about this right here. I might check it out too as well. He said, what a pair must urge New Yorkers to vote for Cuomo. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a little bit more research on it and see exactly what it is. But why are you reducing the man's speech? No, the speech was great. The speech was great as a whole. Yeah, I agree. The speech was actually really good. I'm not trying to reduce. If you think I'm reducing, that's not what I'm trying to do whatsoever, right? That's not, like, the speech itself was great. I expected something different is what I'm saying. Like, I think I was looking for more, policies and stuff like that, which he did say at the end, right? He's looking at, healthcare and other things for the city. But yeah, the speech itself was amazing. I actually, like, it makes me want to move there. Like, I think some of the things are great, but I'm just not a city person. I am not moving to New York, so don't get anything mixed up. But yes, I think it is great for the city what he is doing, and I'm just excited to see what he's gonna do. I think over time it's gonna unfold, and a lot of the policies and a lot of things that he's gonna try to push. It might get backlash from Trump and all these other people from this whole, administration. But it's important things that he's doing. It's important to see how this all unfolds and by all means, he definitely got into office. He definitely got into this position because so many people are fed up right now. So many people are over this entire administration. So many people are just like, all right, I'm tired of it. We're doing the same thing over and over again. And nothing's changing. And when you see videos like this, it's like, okay, you trying too hard, but failing. Wow. I can never handle New York. Beautiful place, but seems like a panic attack compared to my little city. I think this is also why people are mad as well. We played this video earlier, but let's check it out once again.
The shutdown proceeds because the Democrats just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and seeing this speech, and this wasn't a speech by all means. It's just a, this was just a what do you call it? This is just a interview or whatever. It wasn't a speech compared to this, right? Like this is level. This is political authority level speech right here. What is the word? Y'all know what I'm saying. This is up to par of a speech of what I expect our leaders to be able to speak at, not point fingers. I sit back and I think a lot of people are getting stuck on, oh, he's there's problematic. He's of course he's Muslim. I think he is, right? Don't get me wrong. He's an immigrant, so that makes it a huge difference. But that also is why people are mad about this whole whatever election. But at the end of the day, regardless, it doesn't matter where he's from. Can he do the job? You know what I mean? Like, why does it matter where he's from? That's what the right always do. They're like, oh, is he American? Does he come from here? And it's all these different things. When in actuality, why does it matter? Why does it matter where he's from? Can he do the job of the American people? Which he is now a citizen of America. So what difference does it make? But anyways, great speech. Well put together speech. And, I'm really excited to see what he's going to do for the city. That is a big win. And, I'm excited. People are fed up. And I think we're going to see more and more people coming out and, speaking out and running for office like this. I think you're going to see a lot more Democratic officials get into place across, and people are going to start fighting back against a lot of this craziness and, craziness that's going on within the country right now. You're going to see a lot of people fight back. And this was a huge win for the left, And regardless, by all means, I'm not saying, oh, you need to be a Democrat or you need to be a conservative or a Republican. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. I'm not saying you identify with a party. Yes, you have to pick a side, and yes, you have to vote. But what I am telling you is understand policy. Understand what are the policies that, these sides are talking about, right? Understand what is the policies, whether that policy, aligns with the Republican Party, right? Do you believe in low and small spending and some of the crazy stuff that is going on within the MAGA movement right now and conservatives? Not saying that all Republicans are like that, but you have to understand what are those policies for. Or do you believe on the Democrat side, right? Or do you not believe in either one? But in the next election, maybe something that the leader of the Republicans is speaking about resonates with you. You have to vote on policy. Too many times now we see so many people who talking about, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat, whatever, right? Too many people right now, they vote based off of identity. It's what I'm saying. It's based on identity. It's not, what they're talking about. It's not the policies. I guarantee you, if 95% of MAGA sit back and do the research as to what, the policies that Trump was talking about during this entire campaign, I guarantee you they would not be Republican whatsoever. I guarantee you. That's just how it works. They would not be Republican whatsoever. But at the same time, they didn't do the research. By the way, Jay, you can easily build your own AI agent even without coding experience. You can give them a credit wallet. They will troll the internet for best price shopping. All right, y'all. Oh, Lori. Oh, yeah. Lori is problematic. Link. Your live stream is problematic to link to South Africa. Can you do something, or is that YouTube? I don't know what you mean by that. Let me see. Let me check that out. See what's going on. Because I didn't do anything with that one. I don't know what's that about. Let me see here. Let me go and check that out. See what you're talking about. Because yeah, I actually can't change anything with South Africa. I can't. Yeah, I don't see anything linked to South Africa. I have no idea. Anyways, y'all, I enjoyed the stream. You guys are absolutely amazing. There's a lot of great things. We also stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays every single week. I try to do it at 12 p.m. every single day. This Friday is going to be very interesting because I got a lot of other topics that we're going to talk about as well. But if you missed the stream, if you missed any portion of the stream, we were live for 2 hours, 2 hours long, a very long stream, But as a whole, we covered a lot of topics. I will also post every single segment of today's stream. And I think it's important that, if you want to check it out, you can watch it. I will repost them as videos or maybe even shorts if you guys want to check it out. But appreciate you guys. You guys have a great day. Like I say, every video, every single time, I will see you next live stream, next video, next whatever, next short, next whatever. Make sure I hit the like button as well. Hit the like button before you guys leave. But yes, I will see you next video. We out. Let's go.